After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
The BRP iRacing Series is set to light up the night for their 10th race of the season within the tight confines of America's dirt track, the Fairbury American Legion Speedway. This tight Illinois quarter mile typically plays host to multiple types of dirt racing machines, with their marquee event being pegged as the annual Prairie Dirt Classic for the dirt late models. Tonight, though, it's all about big block modifieds as they get set to power their way through this final stretch of the championship schedule. Get ready, because we're about to go dirt tracking once again on a Monday night in prime time. This is round 10 of the 2021 BRP iRacing Series for the Big Block Modifieds, and it's coming at you live on PitStop TV. Good evening, everybody. No place that I would rather be on a Monday night than here on PitStop TV, getting ready to watch some good old-fashioned dirt track, short track racing, and I can't wait to see what these guys have in store. And as you can see, practice has been pretty entertaining. I'm Eric Brennan. Pleasure to be with you here this evening, working alongside the voice of BRP, and I'm going to say that because I think his attendance number is the highest on these broadcasts. And Joe Donahue. Trey Shuttlesworth is behind the scenes, handling our production duties, and Trey Patton. We got two Treys on the crew here tonight, taking care of everything on social media. Speaking of social media, there's a lot of opportunities and avenues for you to be able to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, including out on Facebook at facebook.com/PitStopTV/. We're also on Twitter at PitStopTV_, Twitch as well at twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV/, and of course on YouTube at youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1. Well, that's a mouthful. And Joe Donahue, I think we're going to have a mouthful here tonight. This racetrack is a lot of fun. I've never had the opportunity to drive it or this car on the sim, but judging by practice, these drivers seem like they're going to have a lot of options, at least on this quarter-mile venue. But it's still a quarter mile, man. It's going to be a physical night. First off, welcome to the show. Secondly, what do you expect to see here this evening?
Yeah, absolutely going to be a physical show here. These guys, especially last week, they ran at Williams Grove, which is a half-mile course, and then now we come to a quarter mile here at Fairbury. This is kind of the style of track I think suits these cars a little bit better. The way you drive these cars, kind of when you get into the corners, you don't want to have a whole ton of speed. So the shorter straightaways compared to what we had last week, I think that'll play into the hands of the drivers tonight. But at the same time, I mean, we're going to bring out 26 cars out for a feature event here on a quarter mile. I mean, it's going to be packed. It's going to be tight racing. I think the bottom and the top are going to be very different lines, and it's going to be very dynamic to see how both of those lines race. But I'm excited. I think that just from practice, this is going to be a really good show.
Yeah, and as you can see from these overhead shots, which are absolutely incredible, you can see a variation in approach in the corners, especially when you got drivers who are either running by themselves or perhaps in a little bit of a pack. Haven't really seen a preference so far develop here this evening between the top and the bottom. This was originally supposed to be race number 10 of 12, but with the new release of the Bristol Dirt Track, the series organizers decided, you know what, we're going to tack that on to the end of the schedule. So we got 50 laps here tonight. Cedar Lake's going to be next week, and then in 2 weeks' time, they're going to move on to Charlotte, and then we'll wrap things up at Bristol 3 races from now. But 50 green flag laps total is what we're going to be shooting for come feature time. As always, we'll have heat races slated in just a few moments to help us set the lineup. And the championship points are rather interesting, Joe Donahue, as Cody Higbee, despite only having one win on the season, atop the championship standings by virtue of his level of consistency. But as you can see, those wins are kind of spread about throughout those top six. And I think if you want to try to pick a winner or handicap the field tonight, it can come from any of those top six competitors, or even some of the drivers who've yet to find victory lane, but have still been putting together consistent seasons, like the bottom portion of those standings as well.
Yeah, I think consistency is reigning king in this series this season. I said that at the beginning of last week's broadcast. As Cody Higbee, obviously he got his first win of the season last time out at the Grove. But coming into that race, he was still the championship leader, just barely over AJ Albreda. And as you can see, that gap is a little bit larger, but not very large at all. And I certainly think that this is showing the skill level and the equality of the playing field that these guys come into week in, week out. And, you know, it's sort of a revolving door of who's going to be up at the top end of the board. We've got a lot of guys who've been in the top three a good couple times, but there's 10, 12 drivers even week in, week out you can talk about possibly being in the podium at the end of the race we get to talk to. So I'd certainly agree with you. I think this has been a really great season so far, and tonight surely isn't going to be any different.
And if you're wondering how some of these drivers control their own destiny, objective number one, get the job done in the heat race and then follow it up with 50 clean laps. And on a track as tight as this here at Fairbury, it sometimes can be hard to avoid somebody else's problem. And you see, we've had so far 5 different winners on the season. Ryan Beagle, third in points, highest running driver in the standings without a win. Travis Miller, Michael Hackett, Ryan Susi, Gavin Eisel all looking to find victory lane as well. While Maxime Plant, I should say, leads in the win column, but still mired back 5th in points. And I think it's going to be like a game roulette. Just, put your winning chip on whatever driver you think can take home top honors tonight, because this race could serve as a bit of a wild card in comparison to Williams Grove last week. And it's going to be fun and physical. And as you can see just by watching practice, these drivers have a lot of options at their disposal. But, on a track that is as tight of a quarter mile, Joe, is momentum really that big of a factor? Or because the track is so tight, if you do make a little bit of a mistake or slide up, do you have enough time to perhaps get that run back going before you lose a bunch of spots here? How does the ebb and flow of a track this tight work for these big blocks?
Well, I think with these cars, when the ebb and flow comes into play, especially is when the track starts getting older and slicker. I think if you lose momentum and you lose time on a track that's slicked out a little bit more, all the way across the track, maybe not more than just on the top, where obviously the track will slick in pretty nicely. As you can see, Brett Haas up there. Well, now he's upside down, but they're working in the top a lot. So I think the momentum that you hold is really important when the track's slick, because you want to be able to try to get some slide jobs in. And I'm wondering whether or not the top lane's just going to be dominant tonight, or if the bottom's going to end up getting some showtime here too. These guys are running up top a lot here in practice, so that could be a factor as the night goes on. But I think momentum-wise, if you made a mistake, you'd probably be all right, but you definitely don't want to, because maybe more than the track itself, but if you make a mistake, these guys are going to eat you up and you're going to fall to the tail pretty quick. There's a very strong field of cars here tonight, and a lot of really great drivers who are going to try to capitalize on any opportunity you give them. So maybe not for the track, but definitely for the drivers, I wouldn't recommend making any mistakes.
And one driver who's not made too many mistakes here so far, at least not in this practice session, Ryan Susi, who you want to talk about how tight the field is so far here in this practice session. Top 3 covered up by less than 1/10 of a second, with a number of names that we would expect to see here. And how about this camera work? I'll give a shout out to our buddy Andrew Cardinale IV, who worked very hard to put some of these views together. And I love this shot over just behind the right front suspension, because not only can you see how hard the driver's working by watching that right front tire zigzag back and forth left and right, it also gives you a good vantage point to the rest of the corner. And you can just see how far he has to angle these cars before he can carry the momentum with him to nurse that car off the bottom of the corner, or I should say off the exit of the corner. Kissed the wall in the front straightaway last time through. But Susi has found something, and he's kind of running on the top side of the racetrack, and you can see him starting to gain ground on the competition, who is electing to stick to the bottom side. That's the number 68 of Dave DiPietro, who is just ahead of him there. So we're already starting to see a little bit of parity there as far as top lane, bottom lane there, Joe. They look pretty even at this point in the practice session, but we can expect conditions to change and evolve as the night goes on.
Yeah, certainly. Both of those lines are going to start slicking off over the course of time as people use them up. And I think, at least by the way practice is going, with them kind of working in the top and the bottom, we got a couple guys working up top, some guys in the middle, like Ryan Susi is on your screen right here, and then down at the bottom, like Petro was doing. I think as that works out, we should be able to keep it pretty even, so long as the guys, keep it diverse through the corners. But even on top of that, I want to mention how bumpy the backstretch into turn number 3 is. I was watching some events on YouTube prior to this event. I'm not one of those people who has the track yet, I should say. I think tonight's proving I should bite the bullet and spend the money on Fairbury on iRacing. But I was watching and I just noticed how bumpy the backstretch in the entrance to turn 3 is, and I'm wondering if that's going to catch anybody out. I think that's something that we might want to watch out for as the night goes on. And even when we were on board with Ryan Susi there, I could see how bumpy the entrance to turn 3 was. So definitely something to talk about there too.
That's a great point, Joe. That's something I would not have picked up on here, as not having that much experience on the sim myself. And actually, here we'll go right on the front Nerf bar, and you can see that those bumps do in fact exist heading off to that portion right here. This is exactly what we were talking about. That's a lot of movement there, and I'm not sure how that feels like behind the steering wheel. Is that something that you're kind of battling through, or you just kind of convince yourself to just forge your way through it, even though it may not necessarily look as settling as you're bobbing and weaving up and down inside the cockpit of your virtual race car?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I think in a big block modified, you're kind of used to the car working against you. But certainly when you go through a corner in a dirt car, your idea is to kind of maximize the ability of the angle you run through the corner to give you a balance of speed and the ability to obviously make the turn itself. And when you're running over those bumps and you're offsetting the balance of the car and the weight's getting all screwy underneath you, I think that's something that really, if you want to be up at the front of the field, you have to be on top of, and you have to be both patient with and working with kind of to your favor. I think that's going to be something that can prove your skill and put you up at the front if you work with it well, versus somebody who maybe isn't as experienced with working on a car that's bumping up and down, the weight's going on and off the tires, and that might send you back further in the field.
That's a great point, and we will be watching for that as well here as we kick off a bit of our qualifying session here. While we got a moment, let's thank some of the league partners who are a part of this. We watch AJ Albretta start to rip the top of the racetrack. Bicknell Racing Products, Rival Powder Coating, Matt DeRitter Designs, Butt Kicker, Jam Performance, and Miller Auto Detailing are a couple of the company names behind the BRP iRacing series. Huge thanks goes out to them for putting on these events, because I've been having a great time watching as a spectator, and happy to be on the call here for tonight's race. We also want to do a quick shout out to our partners here on the platform, including our friends at the Sound Art Tucson. We'll tell you a little bit more about them later on tonight. Don't forget to pick up your pace at Race Pace with Race Pace setups. Also, Permanent Makeup in Maine, permanentmakeupinmaine.com, and Whiplash Media, the parent company of PitStop TV. Just a couple of the responsible parties for us being able to come out here and have some fun as we are underway here with Jamie Porter now looking off the left front momentarily there. And so far, it looks as though that it has been, looks like that's Beagle who has set the quick time. Ryan Beagle, that is, who is the fastest by only 0.04 of a second over Adam Hilton. And we're watching one of the winners so far in this season, and Kevin Hebert try to lay down a flyer, but surprisingly, Hebert is not a name that you currently see up in the top 10, as we only got about a minute left to go in this session.
Yeah, Kevin Hebert was the first winner this season when we started off at Volusia, and since then he's been in the top 3 a couple times, but hasn't been able to break through again. So if Kevin could put together a good show tonight, and I think the track will suit him, as you see Ryan Susi getting into it pretty hard there. That just shows how hard you're going to push in qualifying to get a good spot. And these guys are getting set up right now in qualifying to line up for their heats. So these are important laps. It's going to set your starting grids for all of our heats this evening. You want to be up as far forward as you can so that you can have a good start in the heat races. I think being able to start up front in heats is going to benefit you exponentially. The track should be a little bit fresher in the first few heats, so it might be more of a train race, but once you get more towards the third heat, it's going to start slicking off, and I think the racing's going to get really good.
Yeah, and I was shocked to see Ryan Susi there out of the top 10 when qualifying was all said and done. Pretty surprising there. And we mentioned a couple of our partners, see our friends there at Tucson Sound Art, and all the URLs that are attached. We'll tell you a little bit more about these companies and what they could do for you as we start to roll through our night. But I believe that Ryan Susi provides a great opportunity to kind of peek into how important these heat races are. Fastest driver in practice, definitely was logging some of the most laps in the practice session. And here comes heat number 1 with Ryan Beagle on the pole. Thomas Richard going to start up on the outside in second spot for this, our first heat race of the night. It'll be Beagle and Richard, your front row. We'll take you back now to row number 2. Hunter Holberg in the number 99 and Brian Berger in the 60. Takes you to the outside of that second row in fourth spot. Back now to row number 3, and it is Randy Giro, that is, in the 24, and David DiPietro in the 68 to row 3. Row number 4 is where you will find inside in the 7th spot, Corey Howe and Dean Meitzler in the 49 car in 8th. And rounding out our field in the 9th spot, Mike Winner in car number 23, as we are now on our last parade and pace lap before we get set to kick things off here at Fairbury for the BRP iRacing Series, their first heat. 9 cars slated to go here to help set the lineup in an 8-lap heat racing event before we get this thing underway.
Yeah, so we're getting ready to go here. Watch the top 5. That is guaranteeing the slate to make it into your feature race tonight. We'll have to double check really quick after this heat race goes if we've pulled in more than 26 or not. We might have everybody starting tonight in the feature, but we'll worry about this heat right now. Green flag's out. Thomas Richard shoots off the top. Ryan Beagle down on the inside in that 84 machine down the back. He doesn't quite hold on to that 3T.
Oh, and you can see right there, as Joe Donahue was talking about, the bumps heading into 3 really upset Beagle's car, and that's going to give Richard a bit of an advantage at the head of the pack. Berger up into the 3rd spot, Holberg holding down 4th, and then Giro there in the final transfer spot in 5th. While Wenner appears to have picked up 3 spots in the opening lap, but ripping the top comes Tim Richard out in front with the number 84, or 844 is being scored tonight. Beagle holding down 2nd, but Berger's having a peek down low. Everybody pretty much single file, riding up against the wall here as we come up to the halfway point in this heat race.
Yeah, already halfway into this one. Brian Berger is on a tear in that 60 machine. The Double H Hunter Holberg runs the fastest lap in this one as we come into the second half of this heat race. It's still top dominant. Track's a little young here tonight, so don't expect too much out of it, but they got a nice little battle going on for 6th place way back in the field. Hunter Holberg putting some pressure on Brian Berger right now down the front again. That he's going to try to go to the bottom side. In the middle, doesn't quite go. The top, contact with the outside wall there for Double H.
Yeah, Hunter Holberg got up into the wall, and now he gets real loose off of turn 2. Bounces off the side of Giro there, who's going to try to move up to 4th. These 5 have a huge advantage over the field behind them, and a big wall ride there by Holberg, who climbs the fence and goes into the wall hard in 1, and now he'll nose it into the fence there in turn 2 as the white flag is in the air.
That car's got big-time damage, and that hopefully he gets out of the way of the leaders here. Thomas Richard has no trouble. That 3T machine going to come through and take one's victory. Ryan Beagle going to hold on to 2nd place. Berger, Giro, and Meitzler round out your top 5. How about Deed Meitzler slipping into that 5th spot?
Yeah, great run there by Meitzler to move up into what we're calling a transfer spot here in the heat race. But, man, you talk about what Holberg had in his pocket. He was in about 4th spot there while trying to move up there in the latter stages of that one. Finds himself finishing shotgun on the field, and that was a pretty entertaining first heat to kick things off here at Fairbury. And heartbreak there for Hunter Holberg, as here's the lineup for heat number 2. Joe, I'll turn it over to you.
And so we'll start off on the front row with Adam Hilton, a surprising run in qualifying here. That puts that number 3 on the front row with Cody Higbee to his outside, last time's winner, the 97. In row number 2, we've got on the inside the gentleman, Maxime Plant, driving car number 79. His outside will be the 38 of Ryan Susan, always fast here. Going back to row number 3, you've got the 121, the all-yellow car, Tyler Pachalski, and starting on his outside is going to be the 18 of Gavin Eisel. Starting in 7th for this heat is the driver of the number 71, Kevin Hebert. Watch out for him to come to the front. And starting alongside of him in car number 1, that's Joe Matthews. Gotta love that first name. And rounding out your field for the second heat tonight is going to be that 84 car of Dan Sider. Ready to go for heat number 2. Hand it back to Eric. This should be exciting. Hopefully we get a nice run down the middle and up top.
A lot of cars starting middle towards the back of the pack as we go green here for heat number 2. Topside worked big time last time through that these cars were on track for their heat race, and here they come again, ripping around the outside of the racetrack, trying to take over the lead from the outside of the front row. They nearly collide just behind. It's going to be Higbee leading lap number 1, and now also coming up top. Here comes Plaid. Oh, Susie got squeezed up into the fence trying to go for 3rd.
They're all fighting to try to be up at the top end of the racetrack. It looks like Joe Matthews is the only one to go all the way to the bottom side of the speedway, just finding some space down there as that number 1 machine right now. As you see Pachalski and Hebert getting right into it with each other up at the top end. Oh, contact, big contact, cars crashing out of turn number 4, stopped on the inside of the track. They might call a yellow, maybe not. Tyler Pachalski going to have to get that car set back up all the way to the tail he goes. Cody Higbee still has pretty good control out in front of Maxime Plant right now.
Kevin Hebert, car on the move, up into the top 5 in a transfer spot here. You called it, Joe. Already in that transfer position as we eclipse halfway. There's a good look here at Hebert, who's kept himself out of trouble for this time. Now trying to catch Eisel for 4th, but he holds down that 5th position for the time being. Cody Higbee, who came into the night the championship point leader, out in front of this heat race over Plant, who rides 2nd, Hilton 3rd, Eisel in 4th, and Hebert rounding out the top 5 as we'll be coming to the white flag next time.
One more time around, pretty top dominant. Everybody's spaced out pretty nicely here. They come down the front straightaway again. Won last week at Williams Grove, and I came into this event wondering, is Cody Higbee going to keep the momentum? Very different courses here, Fairbury versus Williams Grove, but obviously showing us that Cody Higbee is on top of things in this series. He comes through, and he is going to win heat number 2 for this evening. Maxine Plant going to bring it home second. Adam Hilton, Gavin Eisel, and Kevin Hebert will be rounding out your top 5.
See Joe Matthews coming home in 6. Looks like problems for Pichalski there on the final lap as he fell to 9th in the running order with Sider and Susi getting by him in the final corner. And boy, Susi started the night off top of the charts in practice, and it's pretty much unraveled from there. Crash in qualifying, crash in the heat race. Here we go with heat number 3. It is going to be AJ Albretta in the 0.22, second in points on pole, and James Porter in the 45, starting outside of the front row in second spot. In row number 2, in third position, is going to be that of Michael Hackett in the 484, 35 car, Brandon Grohl, that start outside in 4th. Back in row 3, it'll be Brett Haas in the 55, and the 88 of Corby Daniels will start in 6th position. Back to 7th spot inside of row 4, it's going to be Travis Miller in the 22, and the number 96 of Richard Pereira in 8th spot. As we get set for this third heat race, nobody residing on the back row there. So there's going to be 8 cars slated to come down for green flag here for heat number 3 as we try to set the field for tonight's 50-lapper.
Yeah, interesting here. I don't think Jamie Porter made the call at the front end of the field. I might be wrong, but he hasn't shown up quite yet. So that might be a pretty significant thing for Jamie Porter in that 45. Machine has been pretty strong the last few weeks, starting to make some noise in the series. Even got a heat race win a few weeks ago, so obviously that has some value to it. But we only got 7 cars out on the surface right now, so I think we're only going to start those 7 at least before Jamie could maybe pull it out of the pits and catch back up to them after the green flag. You got AJ Albretta out front. Watch for Travis Miller. Watch for Brett Haas at the end of the field to try to move up as well. 8 more laps. Heat number 3 about to set sail.
And here we go. It's maybe the final heat race event that we have here for the night before we get set for our 50-lapper. We're underway, and for the 3rd time in a row, the top lane is going to have the momentum. It's Grohl up top. Albretta trying to make the bottom work. He's going to do it. Slide job move to go to the lead there ahead of Grohl, and he leads lap 1.
Grohl on the inside. He might have been able to pull a slider there, but he stayed to the bottom side. Watch that 35 if he dives on the inside. Not going to do that. He tries to run that low line. There's contact and wrecking back behind them. Getting the car settled down and underway is the beef. Corby Daniels, he sets that car back, and they stay green up front. AJ Albretta has control of this one. Michael Hackett moved up pretty well. That's really cool to see. B484 moving all the way up through there with Brandon Grohl in 3rd. Brett Haas on a charge, though. He's going to make that 3rd spot.
Yeah, Haas using that high side of his advantage as well. But right now, AJ Albretta proving that the bottom of this racetrack can work to try to make a move and get up to the front of the pack. But right now, Michael Hackett is starting to close in there for this race lead in this heat with time starting to run out. It appears he's found something, maybe running up a little bit closer to the wall. We're going to go on board with Hackett here as it looks as though he nearly kissed the fence with the right rear Nerf bar of that car. Albretta pulls him a little bit in 3. Hackett closes up center of the corner as these two are going to try to settle it here with 2 to go.
Albretta's still running up top. Hackett's got 2 challenges to him if he wants to win this heat. First off, he's going to catch up to AJ Albretta. Second off, he's going to have to pass AJ Albretta. I think top dominant right now, you have to be very willing to go down to the bottom side and kind of send it in as the white flag is going to come out. And AJ Albretta has got a pretty good lead on this one. Should be able to pull it off pretty nicely, but a great run for Hackett and Brett Haas as well. How about that 55 moving all the way up to 3rd as AJ Albretta gets that checkered flag?
Albretta going to do exactly what he needed to do to match the points combatant he is chasing. Cody Higbee won his heat earlier. Albretta is going to do the same. Hackett comes home in 2nd, and Haas was 3rd at the end of that heat race. And with that, I believe that our lineup is in fact going to be set here as we get set for this 50-lap event. I'll turn it over to Joe Donahue with the starting lineup for our feature.
Yes, sir. Let's roll them off. Starting off on the inside of row number 1, you got the 3. Scored as number 300 is Thomas Richard, Heat 1 winner. On his outside is going to be last time's winner and Heat 2 winner tonight, Cody Higbee. Rolling back to row number 2, starting 3rd, is the Heat 3 winner. We just saw him, AJ Albretta, and to his outside is going to be the 84 of Ryan Beagle. Rounding out your top 5 for this one, it's the gentleman Maxine Plant in car number 79, and to his outside will be one of the other 84s in the field, Michael Hackett. Starting 7th tonight is the number 60 car. Brian Berger showed some speed in the heat race. Might have to watch out for that 60 car. To his outside in 8th is going to be Adam Hilton. with one of his best starts of the season. Rounding out your top 10 on the inside in the 9th starting spot is Brett Haas in car number 55, and his outside is going to be Randy Giroux. And then back to 11th place on the grid, we're going to see the number 18 of Gavin Eisel. His outside will be the 35 black and green car of Brandon Gruhl. Starting off in 13th is going to be Dean Meitzler in car number 49, and to his outside, watch out for Kevin Hebert to make his way up to the front. 15th starting spot for Travis Miller, and his outside is going to be Mike Wenner. Starting in 17th spot, it's going to be Joe Matthews in car number 1, and to his outside will be Richard Pereira in car number 96. 19th spot for Dave DiPetro, and his outside rounding out your top 20 is Dan Sider. Starting 21st, we're going to have the Beef, Corby Daniels, and his outside will be Corey Howe in car number 20. Starting 23rd on the grid is going to be Ryan Susi with Jamie Porter on his outside in 24th starting spot. And as they get ready to go out of 3 and 4, Hunter Holberg and Tyler Pachalski going to round out your field. 50 laps here at Fairbury. Thomas Richard very slow to start them off, but we get the green flag, and we're racing through turn 1. Cody Higbee up top, Thomas Richard down on the bottom, a drag race down the back straightaway.
A lot of front-running drivers in the championship at the front of the field. A little bit sideways there goes Richard off the corner. Higbee to the point at lap 1. On the bottom, Albreda trying to move up there in the 3rd spot. From the outside comes Beagle, who nearly touches tires with Albreda entering 3, and they're 3 wide behind them.
Running in the middle is Maxime Plant right now. He got passed by Brian Berger. Berger is really rolling. Oh, and as I say it, there's contact back there. Him and Hilton made it into each other. Yellow flags come out. They're all bunching up. That was one incident. There may have been more going on the racetrack at the time the yellow flag came out. As you can see, it's gusty as heck, so we're going to have to roll through and see if we can figure out why the yellow flag came out. But absolutely just a whole slew of cars going all over the place. You see Adam Hilton got up on the wall on the outside of the racetrack off of the back of Brian Berger, and that incident there could have very well sent the two of them much further back in the field if that yellow hadn't come out.
Yeah, Hilton very lucky there that once that car came back down on all fours that he was able to continue on. We'll see where he falls in the running order at the time of the caution flag, but that was exceptionally close there as they came through the corner. And also, we already had some pretty intense racing at the head of the field. He was battling with Randy Giroux for that position. Also, we'll take a look here at Sider and Dan Sider, who is up towards the front. But Higbee is doing everything he needs to do as the points leader with only a handful of races left to go. Head of the pack here, now leading the field. Got himself out in front clearly off the jump. We got 3 laps in the books. Again, only green flag laps are going to count. But, when you look at the championship picture, a lot of these drivers here up towards the front, and A.J. Albreda, Ryan Beagle, all up there. I mean, Kevin Hebert's really the only one who's going to work his way from the back to the front as far as the top 5 points contenders. And these drivers with a lot at stake here, not just for the race win, but also with the big picture in mind as the pace truck pulls off. We're going to get ready for the restart.
Restart out and away, 2 wide back to the green flag. Up top, Cody Higbee in the 97 car takes the lead. Thomas Richard jumped up top with him, contact behind with A.J. Albreda, and that's going to let Ryan Beagle come up through as the yellow flag's going to pop back out on the racetrack. Beagle had a nice run going there. We got one sideways on the entrance of the run, and they're going to get this one squared back away.
Yeah, it looks like that is car number 40, I believe, who had the issue there, getting turned around and having to rejoin the pack to put us under the second caution of this race. Oh, and Ryan Susi was caught up in this one. You saw there momentarily, hooked head-on in the wall at the middle of the straightaway. And Susi, who his night has pretty much unraveled since the end of practice, ended up being swept up in that one. And Susi was caught up in that incident there, fresh off the restart, and it slows the field for the second time. Let's shout out once more the league partners of this series, including that of Bicknell Racing Products, Rival Powder Coating, Matt Derivative Designs, Butt Kicker, Jam Performance, and Miller Auto Detailing. Thanks to them for making these events possible. Nothing I would rather be doing while the wife is watching the Bachelorette finale. I'm here talking about sim racing on the dirt track. It's been a spectacular night so far. Joe Donahue's still got a long way to go, plus 45, more than 45 laps remaining, and it's been physical like we predicted on this quarter-mile dirt track so far.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely in a traffic jam here at Fairbury. These guys are really racing on a very small amount of real estate. You can see that in this incident. So to walk through it, it took me a minute to recognize the car because Dean Meitzler put some new paint on that car, and obviously he used that up there. But he got into a little bit of contact on the straightaway with Gavin Eisel. It's just the way things go here at Fairbury. It's very narrow, and there's a lot of cars out here. And then obviously hooked into the wall hard and and then just collected more guys behind him. That's kind of the way it goes here. If you get one car sideways or crashing in front, it's just going to create a traffic jam of cars that are going to get involved. And unfortunately, that's what happened to the whole field here this past time. But when we go back to green again, we hopefully don't get any of that again. We'll get it rolling and maybe trek forward a little bit in these 50 laps. You got a long race to go.
Yeah, that was Meitzler in the 49, not the 40. So my mistake there. Saw the Coors Light logos. Reminded me of the Silver Bullet Cup car that used to run back in the early 2000s. But 49 is the number adorning Meitzler's car, and he's been involved in that one incident so far here this evening. But the points leader in Cody Higbee getting set to lead us back down for a restart here at Fairbury American Legion Speedway. And so far, Higbee's been perfect at the start of these and starts and restarts of these races. And we'll see what he could do coming back down for another one. As the pace truck peels off to safety, we're getting set here to get back underway.
Hello?
Welcome back here to Fairbury American Legion Speedway. I want to apologize for a bit of technical difficulties on our end. As you can see, we are under caution here once again with a number of laps still to go in this race. But at the front of the pack, some interesting storylines started to develop, it appears, in the timing and scoring running order behind the safety car. And I'll tell you what, Joe Boyer, we talked about this baby being a bit of a physical event and it kind of taking its toll. And judging by the amount of cautions we've had, it appears that is the case. Do you think it's because everybody's fighting up towards the top, or there's a lot of fast cars middle of the field trying to get up to the front with not too much time to get the job done?
Well, I think it's a combination of both there, Eric. I think that obviously the track really narrow and small, and these guys who are really fast are trying to make passes as quick as possible to get up to the front end of the field. But that's probably actually it. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I think it's just everybody's trying to go so hard now to get up to the front end of the field. I mean, even though we've got a long way to go in the race, as we get the green flag again, there's only so much time that you could get up to the front. And if you're further back into the end of the top 20, as a yellow flag comes out again here, and Dave DiPietro came off of the pit lane there pretty obscurely and quickly. If you're at the tail end of this field, you may feel like you don't have any time at all. So they're definitely going to be pushing to get up there, and obviously that's what's pulling in a couple yellows.
Yeah, DiPietro there, I saw him coming up nearly into the side of our second-place driver in points, and A.J. Albretta. So we'll try to see what happened here. We're looking at Holberg. Remember, he had a top 4 spot in his heat race before a crash took him out of contention and kind of buried him back here in the running order. So this is Holberg now arriving on the scene of the incident here, and you saw the 68 momentarily trying to get righted as we have yet another caution in this race. But, the more that things change, the more that things evidently stay the same, with Higbee still at the head of the pack. And here we'll look at it straight here from DiPietro. And, that was not any of his doing, as number 96, I believe that was Richie Pereira, may have clipped one of the infield tires and went flipping. And, yeah, there was some contact there as he came back up in the traffic to the side of Albreda.
Yeah, so that's some aggression down on the inside line. You see a lot of guys are starting to venture down to the bottom to see if they can make some time up down there. And obviously Pereira is one of those guys. He just gets down on the inside of the 68 car and I guess just misjudges it a little bit. And as DiPietro is trying to get that car squared away, he comes up back onto the racetrack as the leaders come around, and obviously some contact there with Albreda. Hopefully AJ doesn't have too much damage on that 22 car because it's looking really strong as they are getting back to green racing here. And hopefully Albreda can hold on to what he's got.
Oh, Albreda there almost came right up into Tim Richard that time to try to move up into that second spot. Look at Beagle trying to make the bottom work as well, and the 84 just behind. Albreda now committed to the bottom. He's going to get up clear to that second spot. Clears Richard off the corner. Richard trying to battle back up top, and here comes Tim Richard. He may have caught the wall, though, and Albreda's going to cement second for now.
Albreda down way low as the bottom side's starting to work into a nice spot here that they can run 2 lanes, which is really nice to see, getting some exciting racing going on for the second place. What this is allowing is it's allowing Cody Higbee to build a lead off the front of these guys. Albreda's finished second 2 weeks in a row in this series. So he slides up right in front of Thomas. Bit of contact there going into the corner, and Albreda gets that spot, but they're 3 wide behind him. Plant and, as I say it, Ryan Beagle and Thomas Richard, they're going to go single file. Yellow flag comes out.
Yellow flag is going to come out there. As you saw, Albreda came right into your living room there momentarily as he slid right up in front of Tim Richard for that second spot. Came out of virtually nowhere from our perspective as we are under the caution flag here yet again on lap number 18 of 50. Again, only green flag laps counting. And we'll try to look back here and see what may have happened. I saw a quick look there at Kevin Hebert. Perhaps he could have been involved, but it looks as though no, that car continues on at the time of the yellow flag. So it's been a wild one here so far. And again, the storyline continues to be the fact that we've got some of the top running drivers in championship points at the head of the field with a couple of variables trying to find victory lane for the first time. Now, Thomas Richard is somebody who has gone to victory lane, but he's 6th in points. So the only way he's going to make up ground on the championship is to get up and around the 2 who are leading the field, who also happen to be 2 that are leading the championship. So something we're going to be keeping in mind here is we are going to look like we're going to double up and get set to go back racing with the top 2 in points, top 2 in the race.
Yes, so they're going to get that green flag back out. Green's underway. Going to watch Ryan Beagle there in the 84, trying to make some time off of this start. They're 3 wide for that 3rd place spot. Beagle down low. Maxime Plant up to the top side. In the middle is Thomas Richard. Albreda now challenging for the race lead. We've possibly got a new race leader, not quite at the line, just barely. Cody Higbee held on that time, but Albreda going to try to slide up in front of him, use the bottom side to his advantage, and that 22 car makes a pass, but a big slider out of Cody Higbee that time puts him back up front.
And that's going to knock Albreda back to 4th, and it's also going to turn up the heat inside the helmet. Now here comes Higbee sideways. He got really sideways at Higbee and gets ping-ponged around there as Richard goes to the point. Higbee back up to the wall, and now Beagle's trying to move up to 2nd as we've stacked the field up 3 deep for multiple rows in the top 10.
Ryan Beagle has yet to win a race this season. He's been in the top 3 many times. He's 3rd in the championship, but he's still hasn't broken through. Look at the speed he's getting off the bottom side. He's leading that charge up to where Thomas Richard is right now. Higbee up top hits the wall, and that's going to let Kevin Hebert make a show of the 71 car up to the top side. He's maybe even going to challenge for second now. He is on a charge. You want it, Volusia. I said it at the top of the broadcast. Yellow flag comes out, but it's going to hold him in third, I believe, second place. We got one backwards here. That is Richie Pereira down on the inside of the track.
So I'm going to ask the question, where in the world did Kevin Hebert come from? Didn't we talk about him starting further in the running order and having to work his way through? And with all the cautions, the lack of persistent green flag racing, Kevin Hebert's found himself up maybe in the top, definitely in the top 5, maybe by the timing of the yellow in the top 3. That's incredible how he's been able to work his way up there like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of what we had talked about earlier with the yellows at the beginning of this race, those guys at the tail knowing that they need to get moving and get up to the front end of the field, Kevin Hebert used it to his advantage. You're seeing a replay here. So what happened is Tyler Pachalski got that car backed up a little too much on the inside line, and Pereira just slid into him. Nothing he could do. Collected a couple other guys. Dean Meitzler, one of them, as you see. Big contact for Dean Meitzler, actually, and that's the beef. Corby Daniels getting into it as well. A little bit of damage to the front end of that car, but especially damage to Meitzler here. Look at this hit.
Yeah, and that's a couple of drivers here who may have some black clouds over their heads here this evening. They've been involved in a couple of incidents tonight, some of which not of their own doing, and still got a long way to go. And they will rejoin the tail end of the pack here as we had some thrilling racing going on throughout the pack. Richard at the helm as we get back underway. Beagle pinned down to the bottom. It's going to be Higbee rim riding up top with Albretta looking to get back up into the top 3. He's the one car down to the inside. Beagle's even lower than him, trying to move up to second. And through the middle, here comes Kevin Hebert trying to go to the lead. Contact there.
4 wide for the race lead in the middle of 3 and 4 that time. They single it back out to 3 wide. This time Hebert a little bit aggressive on the angle in through those 2 turns. They're still side by side up at the front end. You got Thomas Richard on the bottom side. You got Cody Higbee up top. Look at Ryan Beagle now trying to make some noise on the bottom line. That 84 car charging on down in the very small amount of space on this track that hasn't gotten completely slicked out. They're 3 wide once again, and we've got one upside down. That's Travis Miller on the back.
That was some incredible racing at the front of the pack. Tough break for Travis Miller, who gets upside down there as they came through the corner. Miller there, we'll see how it happened. Ooh, we got some help. Got tagged by the number 23 there of Michael Wenner. Wenner was one of the biggest movers in the heat races earlier coming through the pack, and Miller's going to get tipped on over here.
That's a tough break for Travis Miller. He's had a lot of speed and momentum over the course of this series. He started off the season really well. Last week he got 3rd place in the feature at Williams Grove, so he was definitely trying to charge up through and continue some momentum in this series. He's trying to charge back up through the points, and unfortunately that's going to be a pretty major setback for him, but hopefully he gets that car squared away and gets back onto the tail end of this grid and keep charging. We're barely past halfway, so there's still plenty of time as they get double filed up for the restart.
So we'll try it again. The points leader, Higbee's been able to perfect every restart up to this point. He's going to have to do it again here as they get set to come down for the restart. Back underway, sliding up the racetrack comes Higbee. He's got P1 here through 1 and 2, and they're funneling it out about 3 wide behind them. Here comes down to the inside the number 79, trying to pick up some spots there, trying to move up in a spot. That's Plant trying to get second as they put another lap on the board, coming up on about 20 to go.
Higbee's got control of it again. This is probably a lot more to his liking than the last time we ran a green flag stint here. Thomas Richard, the only one really pushing on him as we've got a car backwards. That's Joe Matthews out on the exit of turn 2, and he gets that car squared away. Looks like a pretty minor incident overall, but one backwards, obviously we've got to throw a yellow for that.
So the yellow fever is going to continue at this point in the night. You can see the wreck happened up front. And is that Kevin Hebert who was one of the first to go around? It looked like it was. After challenging for the race lead 2 cautions ago, Hebert was the first car to spin, drove straight down the bottom of the racetrack, and speared a couple of cars. So Hebert's night appears to be unraveling. The driver who's got 1 win under his belt, as you mentioned, Joe, came earlier in the season, 4th in the championship points, was in contention for a win. We've seen him drive through the field already once tonight. He's going to have to do it again, it looks like.
Yeah, that incident was actually a lot bigger than I first expected it to be when we looked back and saw Joe Matthews backwards there. But yeah, tough break for Kevin. He's shown he knows how to get to the front. He knows how to get back up there, so at least he's got that on his side. But definitely with only 20 laps left in the event, 50 versus 20, it's going to be a lot tougher hill to climb for Kevin to get that 71 car back up to the front end of the field where his teammate is, Maxime Plant. But, they're getting double filed back up here, and that'll help him out. So hopefully he can get some momentum on and charge back up there.
So we'll see what Abert can do there, now being a little bit further down the running order, and it's up to Cody Higbee to try to survive another restart. Richard up top, Plant there in third in the 79 as we come back underway. Richard washes wide. Beagle thought about sticking it through the middle. That's going to be Albretta's job as he tries to go to the middle of the racetrack here. The fight for second is on down the backstretch. Richard up top. It's going to be Plant down low. Richards gets the edge off the corner while Higbee breaks free.
The bottom side let Maxime Plant get some momentum off that one, and on the back stretch again, he's going to be able to pull up to the top line in front of Thomas Richard. A little bit of the wall there for the 79 car as they're going side by side behind him, almost 3 wide fighting for 4th place, letting Cody Higbee just put more and more of a gap in between himself and the rest of the field. You've got Albreda, you've got Beagle, now they're catching up to Thomas Richard. This whole slew of cars getting then slowed down here. We got another yellow flag coming out. That's the beef, Corby Daniels.
Corby Daniels with a problem in turns 1 and 2 is what's going to make the pace truck roll yet again. But just before that crash, let's go see what happened here. And it was the number 99 of Hunter Hallberg who went around just in front of Daniels. And Daniels had nowhere to go as he committed to that bottom portion of the racetrack. It drove right into the door of the left side of that number 99 of Hallberg coming here through the corner. Also, you see Hackett, who at one point was up towards the front of the pack, fighting for a position, got caught up in that accident. The last caution with Kevin Abert. And now he's able to navigate his way through as they continue to tangle up ahead. But I got to tell you, it looks like right now, if we were to take a look at how things are going at the front of the pack, the gentleman, Maxime Plant, very gentlemanly with that move to try to get up the second spot. He's been pretty clean here tonight. Haven't seen him dust up the wall all that much. He perhaps could throw his name into the mix as a driver who can capture what would be his 4th win of the season if he can get the job here tonight at Fairbury.
Yeah, Maxime Plant, the winner at Lernerville 2 weeks ago, the winner at Weedsport, and also won at Eldora earlier on. So he might be suited to run this track. I think if he could run Weedsport, this might play in his favor. A little bit of a flatter surface there as well as they go back to Green Flag Racing. He starts on the outside this time of Cody Higbee, who slides up in front of him. No trouble there, but Albreda runs the middle and Richard runs the bottom. They're 3 wide for that second spot into turn number 3.
Albreda has by far been the most bold on these restarts to go to the middle of the road to pick up some spots. So far, it hasn't worked out in his favor just yet. We're also seeing Beagle in the 84 being married to the bottom of the racetrack, but the top 2 are riding the wall. Here's that race for 3rd. Richard on the inside, and I haven't seen that 3 car down there much tonight. It's going to be Albreda moving up to 3rd, and here comes that 55 of Brett Haas coming up into the picture. He's now trying to crack the top 5 and maybe more.
Brett Haas now starting to make himself known here. He's fighting up in the tail of Brian Beagle. Maybe a little bit of contact there that time. Riding on board with the 55. You're seeing exactly what he is. Off of the run down the back straightaway. Over the bumps we go. And Brett Haas has pretty good control of that car through those bumps and back onto the front stretch again. He seems to be losing a little bit of the 3 car, but Ryan Beagle still right in front of him.
And as you can see, the top lane is open for both Beagle and Haas. They're electing to stay down low. They think that's going to be the faster route, but the caution is going to come out and bunch the field back up again as we got a big mess in turn 4, and that is Kevin Abert up into the catch fence in the 4th corner.
I believe that 71 car is stuck for the time being, so he's going to have to reset that car. Tough break. Obviously, we know Kevin would have been charging on to try to get back up to the front end of the field. Definitely going to be aggressive with that car to try to make as many passes as possible. You see him just absolutely send it down to the inside of, I believe, 3 cars at the same time there. And as they come through 3 and 4 this time, big contact. Can't quite tell. I believe that's Double H, Hunter Hallberg, that hit him from the inside in that big dust cloud. We'll get a better shot of it, and it indeed is the Budweiser number 99, just sending him up into the catch fence, and unfortunately Kevin's going to get stuck up there and have to reset. That is not what he needed.
That looks like a little bit of frustration there out of that number 99. I'm going to call a spade on that one. I don't think he liked the way that he was getting raced in 1 and 2, and he wanted to let Kevin Abert know about it there at 3 and 4. That was a massive hit for a driver who's going to also take a hit in the points potentially. Speaking of drivers who may not take a hit in the points, how about our leader in Cody Higbee? And in a field this stout, on a track this tough, after going out and winning his heat race, thus far he's led just about every lap according to my unofficial box score, but he's got some help. It's going to be Maximine Plant restarting up alongside and to the outside. It's been Richard who's been his partner on the front row. Now it's Plant's turn to try to use the top side of the racetrack. These two have looked pretty even. They're riding the wall. Let's see who gets the jump here as we get back underway with just over 12 laps to go in this round number 10 of the 2021 BRP iRacing Big Block Modified Series. And here we go for the lead. 3 wide to turn 1. Higbee trying to get it, but Plant's going to power through up top and take the lead.
AJ Albreda got a really awesome jump off the inside line on that restart. Maxime Plant did the same up top, gets the lead of the race, so we're getting closer and closer to the end of it. Maxime Plant now leads the way. Albreda slides up to the top side of the racetrack. Would have been a slide job if anybody would have been up there. 3 wide now for this run, and it's going to be Thomas Richard pulling it out in the middle, actually. It's a pretty good run through the middle finally for that 3T machine as he's got Beagle down low, and Albreda still fighting with him, trying to stay in that top 3.
Albreda trying to move up there to grab that spot as it looks as though the caution is going to be out again with under 10 laps to go. How about the move by Maxime Plant? As we still got some drama, it looks like, here with Holberg as the caution is out for the second time. We're going to see if we can pull up a replay on that one there. And we'll see what drew the ire of the caution flag this time through.
Yeah, look at this. This is a little bit of aggression here. Oh, yeah, these guys are mad at each other. I think you talk about it on oval tracks that are asphalt paved is the tempers flare on short tracks. And I think we might be getting a little bit of that here on the dirt in Fairbury tonight. You're riding on board with Michael Hackett now. You can see just how much of a traffic jam this track is when you're at the tail end of the field, now riding on board with Hunter Holberg. And this whole group of them is just getting into it. Oh, that's Kevin Hebert definitely going up the track to try to find Hunter Holberg right there. A little bit of contact made, and they come through the first 2 turns again. And obviously we had seen the continuation of what happened here with Hebert and Holberg. I think the tempers are flaring, and those guys are definitely not happy with each other right now.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, though, for Kevin Hebert, I mean, you've had a good season so far. Granted, it's not been your night. Still going to have a number of races left to go at the end of tonight, 3 as a matter of fact. You know, there could be some repercussions to some of that type of on-track behavior, and, you know, you obviously don't want to see that. But nevertheless, it appears as though we've gotten this race back underway with Plant ahead of Higbee. The field really separated here on this restart as it's a shootout, and Plant may in fact be on his way to another win this season, but the points leader's got something to say about it. He's following him up in the tire tracks as they come to the line here with the laps clicking off. Top 2 have broken free.
We're going to have 6 to go. Maxime Plant and Cody Higbee leading the way pretty significantly over the rest of the field. Thomas Richard running in 3rd spot. They're just running up top all alone. No trouble for those guys, and you can see how much of a gap they can build while the rest of them fight behind. Albreda now makes a pass up into the top 3. He's got Thomas Richard to the inside. Brett Haas and Ryan Beagle as well, so they were almost 4 wide for a split second there. Albreda running up top all alone there. He's got Richard behind him. Brett Haas tried to make some noise on the bottom side, didn't quite work for him as they come through again, and it looks like Richard hit the wall and falls back.
So that's going to allow Albreda to move into sole possession of 3rd spot, at least for now, hoping for something to happen with the front 2. But right now, Maxime Plant appears to be in a bit of a league of his own. Best race is going on right now for 4th after Beagle's been struggling on the bottom in the 84. Haas trying to move up into that 4th spot. Richard fending him off for now. But we're coming up on about 2 laps to go on Maxime Plant, the leader. And he is now less than 2 laps away from grabbing another victory and hopefully trying to climb further up the ladder as he comes to the line with just 1 to go.
Pretty impressive to see Adam Hilton moving up into the top 5 as well at the time being, but down the back one more time. No trouble behind Maxime Plant. Just got to get through this corner without making any major mistakes. They get to the tail of the field, not in time. Your winner tonight is going to be Maxime Plant. The gentleman getting it in. Cody Higbee going to finish 2nd. AJ Albreda going to bring it home 3rd. Thomas Richard and Adam Hilton round out your top 5. I saw that 3-car coming on very strong at the end of the run there. And as the rest of the field comes through to get their official spots in the final order, we could have been seeing a little bit more if there were a few more laps for Adam Hilton to run with. But up top, not the same show. Maxime Plant, Cody Higbee, pretty easy run to the end.
So it was a great night overall for Cody Higbee, but it was one of those late race restarts that allowed Maxime Plant an opportunity to shoot out at the head of the field and take home top honors for his 4th win of the season with 3 races left to go. Plant is going to join his top 3 finishers on the front straightaway, and we will have an opportunity to hear from our winners in just a few moments. And what a job, though. I thought it was pretty cool here, Joe, the fact that we had drivers who had so much to lose in the championship, racing so hard for a victory, 2 of which finished up in the top 3, and I think we're going to throw Maxime Plant in the mix for the championship as well with a few races to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way these guys have to race each other. They know that their most significant competitors in championship runnings are the guys up at the front end of the board, so they have to be as aggressive as possible if they want to get any points and have any chance to get these guys in the point standings.
Yeah, so another great night of racing action here at Fairbury, 50 laps in total. We're going to take a break and step back. When we come back on the other side, we're going to hear from our top 3 finishers here tonight at the conclusion of this event for the BRP iRacing Series here on PitStop TV. Don't go anywhere.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to the virtual Fairbury American Legion Speedway, where we just wrapped up race number 10 of the BRP iRacing Big Block Modified Series. And what a thriller. We expected it to be physical here tonight. That's exactly what we saw, but it was a familiar cast of characters at the front of the pack, including our driver who came home to capture top honors here tonight. By virtue of grabbing his 4th win of the season, Maxime Plant was able to outlast the field, and a lot of it came down to some incredible racing. Let's get Maxime into the broadcast booth with us and hear how he got the job done for this incredible race here tonight. Once we get Maxime in the booth, we'll have a chance to talk to him and hear how he got the job done. And now it's a pleasure to welcome to the winner's circle here, 4th time this season, Maxime Plant, after doing an incredible job staying up towards the front. And I'll tell you what, he backed up the nickname here tonight. The gentleman made a very clean pass for the win. Maxime, welcome to the broadcast booth. We knew this one was going to be tough. A quarter-mile slugfest here at Fairbury, and you did it about, I think, as clean as anyone could possibly imagine. I know you got a lot of wins here so far this season, but how does this one feel given the competition and the track?
Yeah, so thank you firstly, and yeah, that's really hard tonight because the track is really slick, and the wall is really close. So and we have a new update for iRacing, and they put a lot of dust on the track. So during the race, when we are behind someone or with the lap car, you can see nothing.
Yeah, we noticed that on the broadcast too. And I will tell you, a lot of drivers seemed committed to whatever line they wanted to run all throughout the night, even after the restarts. You seem to really like being up top. Even if you weren't leading, you were trying to follow in the tire tracks of Cody Higbee. Is that something that you just felt was better for your car? And is that what put you in position that when you ended up second on one of those late race restarts, you were able to take the lead away because they handed you the outside of the racetrack? Is that what was the winning move for you, being on the top side?
Yeah, because top side here, I was a better momentum on the top side, so I prefer to stay on the higher side, and that's really good for me because I can be really smooth with the gas and stay close to the wall, and so it's really cool for me because if we do a mistake, you're really in the trouble. So it's risky, but it's a better momentum.
Now, towards the end of that race, you had the championship point leader in Cody Higbee right behind you. Now, granted, Maxime, you've got the win record so far this season with 4. The only other person close to you has 2. It's AJ Albretta as well as Thomas Richard, who are tied apiece. You're collecting the checkered flags and the trophies, but knowing the points leaders behind you in the last few laps, and you can gain maximum points here with a few races left, was that a little bit of extra motivation to get the job done in those final 12 laps or so?
Yeah, so I try to figure out, and every time on the podium because I was really unlucky early season. So I need to stay on the podium every race if I try to stay in the championship. So.
Well, your championship hopes, according to my unofficial match, should be alive now that we got an extra race tacked on to the end of the season. But next week is Cedar Lake, and just curious of your level of confidence heading into that track 1 week from tonight.
The Cedar Lake, I'm not really good to this track because I don't practice a lot. I win a race in the driver simulation series, but not in the drivers, but the RPM iRacing series. I win there, but I don't practice a lot, and I am not really sure what is the better line. I know the top lane is good because we got a better momentum for the modified, but I'm not really sure for the next week.
Well, we're going to be looking forward to it. You prove to be a threat everywhere that we go with this series. And Maxime, before we let you go, just want to give you an opportunity. 4th time that you've gone to victory lane this season. Who do you have to thank for grabbing the checkers here tonight at Fairbury?
Thank you for everyone. Thank you for the stream and broadcast. Thank you for my team, sponsor, and family. Thank you a lot, and have a good night.
Maxime Plant continues to rack up the wins in the win column. He's got his 4th one here tonight. Great job tonight, buddy. Congratulations on your win here, and we'll see what Maxime can do next week at Cedar Lake. Now, the driver who finished runner-up, good points night overall, just came up 1 spot shy of his 2nd win. I'm going to turn it over to Joe Donahue, who's going to catch up with Cody Higbee, our runner-up.
Yeah, I'm going to bring in the driver of the 97, throttle jockey Cody Higbee. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Cody, you had pretty good control of the beginning of this race, and at the end, you just got caught out by Maxime Plant's run.
Maxime got a really good restart on me there. I probably should have chosen the top on that restart. He just got such a good start, and he was just side by side that I couldn't get to the top. But yeah, I thought the top was just getting too slick, so I chose the bottom, and that's what hurt me.
Yeah, and you kind of answered the question a little bit before I was even going to ask, but I was going to ask how you felt your car ran over the course of the run. Did you think that the track wearing out as these 50 laps ticked away was benefiting or deficiting your car or your opponent's cars, that you had to start making some different options for strategy as the race progressed?
Me and Maxime were like the only two to not fall off. I think the start of the race, we were the 2 fastest cars, and the end of the race, we were the 2 fastest cars. We were gone from the rest of the field, but Yeah, it's just all about running the top there at the end and not making any mistakes.
And that's how you win championships. And I'll mention that because you're atop the leaderboard in that case, but obviously second place is good for the championship, but gives you a little scare. How confident are you moving forward through Cedar Lake, Charlotte, and the finale that we've now attached at Bristol that you'll be able to keep checking off these good performances and stay up top?
I'm pretty confident. I hope to get some luck. Just got to keep beating AJ. He's really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point there, Cody. Sorry, my Wi-Fi gave out a little bit real quick right there. But before we let you go for the evening, I know you've got a couple people you're going to want to thank here on the broadcast. So anything that you want to say or shout out before we set you free for your evening?
Yeah, definitely. I got to thank AA Designs for hooking me up with the new paint scheme. I got to thank Pay to Win Setups. Head over to their website for their setups. And I got to thank T-Berry Motorsports and all the fans watching.
Absolutely. Well, good job tonight, Cody. Obviously, the top step's where we all like to be, but second place is none too shabby. You put on a hell of a race, my friend. Enjoy it, and we'll see you next week.
Definitely, yeah. See you next week.
And that is the driver of the number 97, Cody Higbee, coming home in second place. I'll hand it over to the very handsome Eric Brennan as he's going to pull in third place tonight and get to talk to AJ Albreda.
Much appreciated, Joe Donahue. AJ Albreda, welcome to the broadcast booth here. Podium finish on the night. Some would classify it as a good points night, but the elephant in the room is the fact that Cody Higbee was one spot further forward. But judging by how physical this race was tonight, are you happy to come out of Fairbury with a third place run, considering all the cautions that we had and how many wrecks that took place in your rearview mirror?
Yeah, definitely happy to at least be on the podium and just salvage a good points night. I know as long as I keep at least just finishing behind Cody, he's only going to get out maybe 1 or 2 points ahead of me. So hopefully going into Bristol at the end of the season here, I can just keep being consistent. I know I have a lot of practice at Bristol, so I'm looking forward to that race a lot. Hopefully that might be the one to win to hopefully get me out front to win the championship.
Got 2 wins already this season. Going to be looking for more in the final 3 races. AJ, one thing that I was very impressed about your performance here tonight, while the 2 cars ahead of you appeared just absolutely married to the top of the racetrack, you appeared more than willing, especially on just about every restart, to either try the bottom lane or the middle of the racetrack. In some cases, it worked out for you. Some not so lucky. Was that just you approaching things with an open mind, knowing that if you're going to make any progress, you got to go where they're not? Or was that a plan that you had going into tonight's race to try to commit to the inside of the racetrack?
Honestly, there's a little bit of both there. The car felt really, really good. Definitely thought I had the car to beat tonight coming in through practice and qualifying. My car felt really good on long runs. It was just frustrating, because we got out front there for half a lap, and fortunately me and my teammate Cody got into each other a little bit there, and it set us both behind, which that was just a racing deal. Sometimes that happens. And, going to the bottom like that, I knew it was going to help me get out front. I ran low on a lot of those restarts, was able to pick off a lot of cars on my way back up from 6th or 8th, wherever I was there. And also I just needed to try to find where they weren't, and hopefully something would stick so I could get by Maxime or get by Cody, but it just didn't work out in my favor.
It was still impressive, though. Despite you not being in what may have been the preferred line, you were still able to make some moves and get up into a podium spot. One thing I noticed in just listening to the interview with Cody Higbee, who was runner-up tonight, he pointed out that he kind of looks at you as a barometer for his success. Says he wants to just make sure he's able to keep staying out in front of you, and he says, and I quote, because AJ's fast. What's the relationship like between you two? Because we want to hype up this championship battle as we go down to the final 3 races, but there seems to be a lot of mutual respect between you two, and it shows on the racetrack. Is that the case between you and Cody?
Oh, absolutely. Over these last 7-8 months, Cody and I have become really close friends, not only in the virtual world, but in real life as well, since we're both involved with these cars in real life. So we definitely got really close to be friends in real life, and we respect each other a lot on the track and kind of cut each other a lot of slack when sometimes somebody else you really wouldn't cut slack, because we understand each other, how we race, and that's why it's so hard to beat each other, because we really predict each other's moves. Like on some of those restarts, he was able to predict that I was going to go to the bottom and try to get by him down low, and he would kind of pinch me down there, or he'd try to get a better run off the top to pass me and stay out front.
And it shows, because you guys put on a heck of a show at the front of the pack, along with our eventual winner and Maxime Plant. AJ, we've got Cedar Lake, Charlotte, Bristol left on the calendar. You already kind of previewed the fact that you're pretty excited Bristol got tacked on, but how about Cedar Lake next week? What are your thoughts heading into that venue here to try to make up ground in the championship, or maybe even grab win number 3 7 nights from now?
Cedar Lake's a real tough track. It's really, really rough. And the lane is always changing there. I hope it kind of stays bottom. I tend to run a lot better on the bottom at that track just because the way it races. But if it goes to the top, it goes to the top. You're just going to have to adapt to it. That's what makes race car drivers really good, is being able to adapt to different racetracks as quickly as they can and be able to run up front no matter what line they run and try to beat the best of the best. And the two that finished in front of me are two of the best in the series, so I can't be too upset.
Going to be looking forward to that 50-lap contest at Cedar Lake 1 week from tonight on March 22nd here on PitStop TV. AJ, before we let you go, man, who do you got to thank for this podium effort? Great night for you overall.
Oh, man, I got to thank all my sponsors. I know TJ and Delaney are watching. I got to thank Olivia for watching as well, one of my good friends from back home. I just got to thank Cody for cutting me a bit of slack there when I kind of chopped him a little bit. So big shout out to him. I got to thank DC Workshop tonight. So go check out setups there. Just everybody that helps me,
It's amazing to hear how many are involved when you have the caliber and talent that you guys do behind the wheel of these cars, whether it be in real life or on the sim. AJ Albreda, great job with a third-place finish here tonight. Excited to see how these next 3 races go for you and everybody else vying for the season-long championship. Great job tonight, buddy.
Thank you.
Again, that is AJ Albreda, our third-place finisher here tonight for the BRP iRacing Series for the Big Block Modifieds. Now, we heard from our top 3 finishers. Joe Donahue, let's take a look at how the rest of the field came to the checkered flag for this in round 10 of our racing contest with 3 races left to go after tonight.
Absolutely. So you'll see on your unofficial results here, obviously Maxime Plant, Cody Higbee, and AJ Albreda up at the podium positions. Looking back to 4th place, you had that scored as 300, on track as number 3, T. Thomas Richard put some strong runs on for this one. Solid finish in P4 tonight. Adam Hilton came on strong at the very end of that race. Didn't really see him much throughout the course of the event, but slowly ticked his way up there and rounded out with a top 5 this evening. Brett Haas in car number 55 brings home 6th place, did a really great job, and that's a great performance for him in this series as well. Ryan Beagle made some noise throughout the course of tonight's runnings. He will round out 7th spot on the grid. Ryan Berger, car number 60, is going to be bringing home 8th place. Great performance for him tonight. Gavin Eisel in 9th spot. One of those guys kind of running in the top 10 in points, so a 9th place finish is pretty solid for him. Mike Wenner will be in car number 23, rounding out your top 10 tonight.
Take it back to 11th spot. We saw Randy Giroux, who was a name that we mentioned in the heat race. Did not see him up there in the feature time, but as you can see, kept his nose clean enough to come home at 11th spot. Michael Hackett was running up towards the front before being involved in an incident towards the bottom portion of the top 10. Raced his way back up to 12th, while Dan Sider was 13th. Richard Pereira, we saw him in at least 2, maybe 3 cautions. That's how you stay in the game there with a 14th place finish. And Travis Miller was on his lid at one point in this race. Came home in 15th spot. Dean Meitzler also involved in a couple of incidents tonight, finished on the lead lap in 16th. And Hunter Hallberg, who had a very eventful night, to say the least. Last car on the lead lap, though, in the Budweiser number 99 at 17th spot. Joe Matthews, first car, more than 1 lap down. In fact, 2 laps down. Kevin Ebert was the number 71, highest up in the points, involved in that little bit of bumper tag with Hunter Hallberg there midway through the race. He was very fast before his initial problems. And Corby Daniels takes you through your top 20. And we'll take one quick look at the rest of the field that takes us down to 26th spot. Tyler Pachalski, Ryan Susi, who his bad day started in qualifying after being fastest in practice. David DiPietro, Brandon Grohl, Corey Howe, and Jamie Porter did not turn a lap in the contest here tonight in car number 45, and that was your 26-car field. As we mentioned, 3 races left to go in the season for the BRP iRacing Series with these big blocks. And there's a lot of people to thank who make these events possible. We'll start with the league partners of the BRP iRacing Series, and we kind of shouted them out a couple times here tonight, but they include that of Bicknell Racing Products, along with the Rival Powder Coating, Matt Dierutter Designs, also Butt Kicker is a premier partner for the BRP iRacing Series, Jam Performance, and Miller Auto Detailing, and it is because of them p.m., we get to come out here on these Monday nights in prime time and have a little bit of fun and enjoy this dirt racing product. We also have a number of partners on the PitStop TV side of the fence, so we want to take this time to offer thanks to and extend our appreciation, and it's because of them that we have all these toys that we can play with. First of which is our friends at Sound Art of Tucson. And with Tucson Sound Art, it is your picture, your music. Remember, when you go to their website, check out their products and services at the URL on the bottom, TucsonSoundArt.com. Make sure you use the promo code PitStopTV, all one word, for 10% off your next order in order to pick up your wall-mounted sound art device today. TucsonSoundArt.com to learn more. We also want to thank our friends at our newest partner here on the platform at Race Pace. And Race Pace is where you want to go. It's where I would go as somebody who doesn't spend too much time on the service. And even if I did, I've never been a setup guy. If you ever wish you could have a race engineer on speed dial, this is your chance to have one. Race Pace is a driver development service and setup shop rolled all into one. Tyler's heading up shop over there. He is a real-world race engineer, and he will help you step up your game before your next race. Be sure to pick up the pace with Race Pace. Discord information available on the bottom right-hand portion of your screen to learn more. We are also partnered up with Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, because when it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. At Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Bullier, a certified micropigmentation specialist, which is short for someone who can make you look good, and she provides professional, safe, and most importantly, personalized services. You can learn more about some of their products and services that are available, or you can head on over to their social media outlets as well to read testimonials, see some photographs, before and after comparisons. Just visit the website Permanent Makeup in Maine, all one word.com, to learn more about them. And finally, Whiplash Media, PitStop TV's parent organization. They specialize in various sim racing resources, a lot of which you saw in use tonight, whether it be paint schemes, stream overlays, or the camera packs, which our very own Andrew Cardinale IV was burning the midnight oil to put together here. And we had some incredible shots here at Fairbury, and it's all thanks to Whiplash Media. They also have a presence in real-world racing as well. To learn more about their available services, visit whiplash-media.com. What a night. What a season. This is my first BRP broadcast, and Joe Donahue, you've been incredible. We had Trey Shuttlesworth behind the scenes working on the production side, and Trey Patton was holding it down on socials. But Joe, I've grown to love this series. I admit that when I'm usually spending some time with the missus on a Monday night, I have the phone open to watch some of these events. I've been drawn in as a spectator and to be a part of the series tonight, talk to some of the top running drivers, and just watch a race from start to finish and how it all unfolds. I'm hooked. I can't wait to see how these last three races pan out, man.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I love dirt racing. I'm a dirt guy, bred and true, back in central PA, obviously growing up right near Williams Grove, Lincoln, et cetera, et cetera. Same with Trey Shuttlesworth, where we vibe on that level. But I love this series. I love the guys who come out. They race each other pretty well. We get some yellows here and there, but at the same time, we get a lot of really nice racing in between. I'm excited to go to Cedar Lake. I think Cedar Lake's going to be a great facility for a good show with these cars, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. I'll have to try to turn some laps ahead of time and see what the guys are going to be working with there. I'm excited to go to Charlotte as well, and of course, Bristol is going to be really fun. Looking forward to that season finale, but in the time being, I'm just glad to be here. I'm very grateful to be a part of these dirt broadcasts, and grateful for everything that goes together to get us here on our Monday nights.
And I'm grateful to be working alongside you. I would have been absolutely lost tonight if it was not for your help this evening, Joe, and I appreciate it more than I can tell you. You already highlighted the races that are coming up. There's also more races on the platform this week here at PitStop TV, and it starts up tomorrow. Operation E Motorsport for their season finale at Sebring International Raceway. It's an endurance event for an incredible cause. You want to check that out tomorrow evening on the platform PitStop TV. We're actually going to be rolling off a little bit earlier than normal with some additional pre-race content. You don't want to miss that again tomorrow evening for Operation E Motorsports, their season finale. If you're into stock cars, how about the Bluegrass iRacing Series finale at Phoenix Wednesday night? Friday, more stock car action, the LTAC Cup Series at Dover. We're going to take Saturday off. We'll be back with some interesting action with the XSLR 360 Sprints at USA International Raceway on Sunday. And as Joe already alluded to, the next race for the BRP iRacing Series next Monday night at Cedar Lake Speedway. And we cannot wait to bring all these events to you. And there are multiple ways you can catch the action. We mentioned Facebook, facebook.com/PitStop TV, /Twitter @PitStop TV _. We're on Twitch as well at twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV/. And lastly, my number one resource when I want to catch the action, youtube.com/c/PitStop TV1. And I think that's it. I think we got it all. So let's check out for the night. We're going to regroup. We'll be back with you in 1 week's time with more BRP racing action. On behalf of everybody at PitStop TV, Trey Patton on the socials, Trey Shuttlesworth on the production side, Joe Donahue who joined me on the call, I'm Eric Brennan, and we will see you all next time here on PitStop TV. Good night, everybody.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.